The earlier you start your seeds, the faster your flowers will be in bloom, and you'll be eating fresh tomatoes. Here to show us how to get started, Master Gardener, Green Thumb Guru, Ed Sourdiffe. It's a pleasure to have you here, Ed.
Hi, Seth.
So we're not there yet, but signs of spring. The snow is melting a little bit, so we have to start thinking about this stuff now.
I know, spring is actually on its way. I mean, I have 2 big brooks in the yard, and I actually saw one the other day. It finally melted through.
Really?
So it's spring is coming.
I've seen parts of my lawn, which is making my week.
Oh, I know. That's a good thing. I finally saw the driveway, too. So.
Isn't that something? It's sad how excited we get about those little things. Now, we want to get started. What do we need if we want to plant this year?
Well, if we're going to plant, there's plenty of time to start things indoors. Most vegetables and annual flowers actually need 6 to 8 weeks time to start before the last frost, and the last frost here is May 31st or June 1st.
So on average, it's at that time, so then we backtrack 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
What sorts of things do we plant 6 to 8 weeks?
Well, you can do your basil, lettuces, just anything. We have zinnias here, basil. Morning glory you can do if you want to start some in the house also, probably moonflower.
But
just
it's always,
anything, peppers, yeah.
As we say on these, you read the back of the packet.
Yeah, that's something that people really should do. They put a lot of information on the back, and that really does help you out. So that's one of the things you should do. Now, if you had seeds from last year, or you had said that you actually bought some sale seeds last year?
Yeah, I bought, because on the phone, 75% off all these seeds I'm seeing, so I went to town.
Yeah.
But that may not be the best idea?
Well, it's all right. If you do buy seeds or have them left over, it's always good to store them in a cool, dry area. Okay. And that'll help preserve the seeds. Things like tomato seeds, actually, if you keep them in a cool, dry area, will last up to 5 years. If you freeze them, 15 years. So there's some long life to seeds. Okay. But if you do that, now's a good time to do it too. You want to check them out for their viability, see if they're still good. If they dried out, they're not alive anymore. So a good way of doing that is take a Ziploc bag like this, a paper towel inside, just dampen it slightly, and then put the seeds in there. And then just leave it and mark what it is, and then leave it for up to 3 weeks to see if they sprout. And when you see the little root come out and a little sprout, you'll know they're still good. If nothing comes up, you just buy yourself some fresh seeds.
Can you transplant them once you've done it here, or is this just for the test?
Well, this is just a test. I mean, you could transplant it, but it's probably too early. Right now, if you really want to plant something right now, it's a great time right now to do anything in the onion family. Leeks, scallions, and regular onions are a good time to plant right now.
There's also soil concerns. What do we need to know about soil?
Yeah, soil, if you're going to plant, don't go out in your yard and just get some loam once it's defrosted, because that's not good. There's pathogens, fungus in there. It will get too compact down for the seedlings. So always get a good soilless mix. You see we have a big bale in front of there. That costs about $30 for that huge lower bale there. So that's it lasts for your regular potted plants and everything, and that'll last you for years if you don't use a lot. I go through like 5 bales a year with all the plants I have.
You do a lot.
Yeah, I do, and I have a lot of tropicals too. You can also use the coconut coir up there, and that actually little block will actually, if you put water with that, and that'll fill a wheelbarrow.
Wow.
So, and you can use that as a seed starting too. So make sure that when you're actually getting soil, soilless mix like that, this is right out of the bag, and you can see it's really, really dry.
Yeah. Do we need potting soil too? The phrase potting soil, if we're going to get it in a bag where it looks like this?
Yeah, a soilless mix is a potting soil, so that's what they usually call a soilless mix. It doesn't have actually dirt in it. It has more peat moss and things like that, and vermiculite and perlite. And so it's a sterile environment. It's really good for seedlings to start nice and light and airy for them. But in the bag like that, it's very dry. You don't want to put your seedlings in that. First, you want to moisturize it, but water it a little bit. And you can see I had actually done this earlier, so it's nice and wet here. It's not so wet that you can squeeze out water, but it's nice.
Damp enough.
Just damp enough to put your seeds in there.
Now, we just know that seeds, obviously they're going to need water, but they're also going to need heat and light too.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that more in the second half.
Perfect.
But what you want to do also to get some of your seeds going a little bit earlier, we actually gave a list of some things like the beets, morning glory, various plants like that. You actually want to soak them in water. So you just take some lukewarm water and you would just pour it in a clear glass so you can watch. And then you say you had your morning glories that you're going to try to start when it's time, and then you would just pour them in there. You would be able to see that in at least around 24 hours to 48 hours they'll actually split the seed, and then they'll get ready to plant, and that'll just get it a lot faster for you to get going.
Now later in the show we're going to have these and so many more tips. Thank you so much. So stick around because we need you also today on We're back with Master Gardener, the green thumb guru himself, Ed Sourdiffe. We're talking about seed starting.
Yes, we still are.
It's a big topic, though.
It is. You could do a whole show, like a complete show on this if you really wanted to. But it's really easy too. I mean, what we're doing is just giving you little bits and pieces to help you, give it a little oomph to your garden.
Well, and we want everybody to start off on the right foot, and that's the thing. You're going to need equipment if you want to plant your seeds early, because the inside of your house isn't warm enough yet, and it's not filled with enough light.
No, it's not. So there's a couple things you can do if you have a house that's a little colder. Most seeds, if you really want to have them get a healthy start and a vigorous start, you could actually give them bottom heat. They really like that. They sell little mats like this for that, around 70 or more. It will help the little seedlings come up. They even have this thing up here with this probe there. That's actually a little thermostat. You would plug your mat into that, crank it to the number you want, like your thermostat in the house, 80 degrees, 70 degrees, or whatever. All plants like different temperatures to start. And that would turn this on and off according to that. If you want to keep it kind of simple, and you don't have that, you can use a little clip-on light or a little desk light like this. And this one actually has a fluorescent bulb in there. You wouldn't want to use that.
Because fluorescent bulbs, they just provide light.
Yes.
Because they have great technology, they don't put a lot of heat.
Yeah, not a lot of heat out there, so this wouldn't work. So you use one of the old incandescent lights, and you can put that right on the soil surface, focus it on that. It would heat the soil, and that would actually help the plants.
Now, Ed, I have a question for you. If I were to go and buy a seed packet like this with seeds, what's the difference between me doing this, obviously, if you want to grow them yourself, but if I wanted to have a garden, couldn't I just buy the actual plant or the flower already grown and plant it?
Well, you can go out to the garden centers and do that, but sometimes when you go get a seed like this, you can actually get a lot more varieties. I mean, you can get heirloom plants, things that they won't have. So really exotic plants you can get like this too. But also it saves you a ton of money. I mean,
this is $1.34 right here.
Yeah, there's probably 50 seeds in there. A 6-pack of plants is already going to be what? Maybe, who knows this year, $5 for a 6-pack of plants?
Okay, so that's the big difference.
Yeah, and also it's really great with the kids or yourself to be at home and growing these things. It gets you out of that the winter doldrums, because you see fresh life coming up, and it's really green and fresh, and you really like that. And actually, I sit there with doing my dividing with these lights on, and there's so much energy from this lights that you could be up till 2 in the morning. You have to be careful because it's like you're at the beach.
Now, speaking of lights, what do we need? Because there's a lot of different price points and levels of light.
Yeah, you could. Once again, there's different price points. You could go get LEDs like this. This little thing was about $100. You're not going to get a lot of plants under that. Maybe 1 flat of plants or 2 under that at the most. But a shop light is really inexpensive, and that's maybe $30. These are just regular light bulbs. If you want, you want to plug this in for me, Seth?
I would love to. Let's try this out.
So you just get a regular shop light, the cheapest of the cheap, and you get 2 light bulbs, a cool white, which is this one, and a warm white or a soft white, they call that. And that actually gives you a full spectrum. You wouldn't think this would be enough, but you get really great plants out of this. And just keep it a couple inches above the plants and put it on a timer. I have a timer here. You want to have that on for 16 hours a day, and they'll think that they're in the tropics. They'll get going really great for you.
It's like the plants are on.
Yeah.
Can I put that above my bed so I think I'm in the tropics?
Well, yeah, but you won't sleep. That's the problem.
That's true. And now, lastly, just to prove the point, we have pipe cleaner depiction. Now, what do these both represent?
Okay, last year we had talked about this, and I said that if you get enough light, this is a little seedling, these would be the leaves, this would be the stem. This seedling would have gotten a lot of light. It would have been probably under this or in a window. This one gets what I call leggy. You can see it's looking for light, it's flopping around. Yeah, that's not going to do well. Yeah, no good. So this is what you want. So the 16 hours a day, and that sounds like it could be expensive, but it won't be, because this is actually fluorescent lighting, so that really is cheap.
Wonderful. Now, there's a spring symposium that's coming up March 21st. That's this Saturday. Tell us about that.
That one is in Deerfield, and that at the Frontier Regional High School. That has the Master Gardeners. You can go to the website wmmga.org, and you can find about tickets. There's 2 other ones that are coming out March 28th at Holyoke High School. I'll be teaching at that one. I think I'll be doing heirloom vegetables and plants.
So people can meet you, and then there's one where we'll put all this on our website. So Ed, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for all the details, and now we got to get our plants started.
And we got to